Same old boring Sunday morning.
We were using your gear, I remember, in GMX Studios. You had quite a bit of studio gear, and the Studios, we were using all of your stuff. And one of the earliest things I remember, and I didn't find out till years later, is that you actually played on our single. And even Steve Buckley didn't know that when I told him about that either. And you didn't get a credit on the sleeve for it either.
Yeah, bastards.
Yeah, absolute cunts. I do remember that when you joined, we'd signed that deal. Ed fucking flipped his lid because we didn't ask him about you joining, and he wanted you to stand at the back of the stage. Do you remember that?
No.
And I thought to myself, there's no fucking way Stuart's going to do that, you know. And we put you at the front doing dual vocals, and it certainly brought something different to the band. It was vocally stronger. I remember, I don't know, you will remember it because it's fucking unforgettable, mate. Your first gig at Winnington Rec.
Yeah, I remember that.
In Northwich.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us the story, Stu.
Before going on, Carl said, do some breathing exercise.
Fucking hell, I remember.
And I went on about, he says, well, just crouch down and start breathing in and breathing out, long ones. And as I crouched down, my famous rubber trousers split right on the middle. And then when we went on stage, the stage is about 4 or 5 foot off the floor, so everyone could be looking at what they wanted to, or not.
That was one of the best gigs we ever did.
I'd say it was the best gig. I was involved in it, anyway.
Well, obviously, I mean, but we knew nothing about the place before we went there. I'd never heard of it, and there was a magazine who'd done a write-up on us, and they invited us to come over to play this showcase, whatever it was, for this magazine. And it was a massive stage with lights, and do you remember, it was absolutely
huge,
chocker in there, wasn't it? It was one of the biggest crowds we ever played to. And I remember a review of it afterwards. I've still got it somewhere, saying that some people said we were the best band they ever saw.
Really?
Yeah. Winnington Rec was another great.
That was the gig.
Yeah.
That was the gig for me.
Amazing gig. I mean, we didn't know anything about the place, and we turned up. Great big stage, lights, and it was absolutely chocker, wasn't it?
Oh, it's bouncing, and that for me was, I think that, if you ask me which is the best gig, the Marquee, of course, is the Marquee, but that was the best gig. It was a different thing.
We were peaking then, weren't we?
Yeah, we really knew what we were doing. We were very well rehearsed, you know, it was just all automatic. Like I say, the kids there, the crowd was fantastic. They were bouncing up and down, they were jumping up and down on the stage and everything. The energy was just unbelievable. I've never experienced a gig like that. That was the peak, by far.
HTV came in, Welsh TV channel. It's the Welsh equivalent of ITV. And said they wanted to make a video of us for this programme called The Electric Chair. And they came up and they filmed us. I remember talking to the council in Rhyl, and they said you can have any location you want, because they wanted the coverage for Rhyl. So we said we'll do it in the children's village, this fucking new thing that they've built on the prom. Massive white elephant it turned out to be. I remember the day we turned up there was some of the places had no plugs, and they had all these electricians in, sort of hooking up the power and stuff like that. So we went on a Saturday afternoon and we just plugged in, because we love doing the outdoor stuff. So we thought, right, let's do it, and we're doing it legally this time because we've got the TV here and we've got permission to do it. And we had a great afternoon filming that. And then where else did they film us? They came into the squad. Fucking hell, we'd been up all night partying, and they were there at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we all sort of got up all bleary-eyed, and it took us about an hour to wake up and start performing.
The band's fully self-sufficient. We've more or less built our own studio now. We record and produce ourselves. Dave, the guitarist and engineer. So the band's sort of potential is massive, really.
We want to do exactly what we want to do. If no one likes it, then fair enough.
It's very, very difficult to get noticed in North Wales. We decided to speak up about it in a big way, and we launched our campaign, the Smash Apathy campaign. No record deal or whatever is going to change us from what we're doing. We're trying to hopefully make a living out of music, and we're hopefully trying to get people around us to make a living out of it as well.
As far as music though, we're trying to do our own stuff, take no notice of what all the bots in the industry are telling us that they're saying. Do it this way, do it that way.
Very, very manufactured. It's a case of let's put some pretty boys together. Let's play the stuff that they know will just make a few bob. Whereas our music's more personal. It's more about people.
But we're still pretty.
We're still pretty. We're very handsome. It's going well.
It's not too late to change your face. It's not too late. We've had this hate. It's not too late to change your fate. No, it's not too late. How can you judge when you don't know me? You don't trust me. You don't need me. You don't know me. You don't trust me. You can't see me. You can't hear me. When I'm in here, you're out there. I'm self-defined to self-despair. You can't see me. You can't hear me. It's not my place, but it's not too late. No, don't you look it's not too late. Bring round this change your fate. Don't you look it's not too late. You don't need this behind this hate. Don't you look it's not too late. Bring round this change your fate. Don't you look it's not too late. You don't need this crap. See, I've been there, done that, said that, felt that, had that, lost that, done that, said that. Been there, done that, said that, felt that, had that, lost that, done that, said that. Been there, done that, said that, felt that, had that, lost that, done that, said that. Been there, done that, said that, felt that, had that, lost that. It's not too late. Change your fate. Been there, done that, said that, felt that. Done that, said that. Been there, done that, said that, felt that. Done that, said that. Been there, done that, said that, felt that. Open your eyes, look outside. Open your eyes, look at yourself. Open your eyes, look all around. Just open your eyes and look and look. 'Cause what you see is what you are. Or what you see might make you change. It's not too late to change your fate. It's not too late to end all this hate.
We got a gig at the Marquee in London, and Ed said to us, you can only play 6 songs. You've got to play them in this order. And we were like, fuck off. We'd arranged a coach to go to London. Everybody wanted a night out to London, and we did it for 12 quid. Coach to London, night out at the Marquee. Fucking great. And Ed was saying, if you don't do it, go to such and such page on your contract and see what it says. If you don't do it, if you don't do what I tell you, I'm going to ring the Marquee and I'm going to cancel the gig. And I put the phone down on him, and I rung the Marquee myself. Got hold of the promoter and I said, listen, we're the band, we're booked to play, we're bringing a coach. Our manager says if we don't play such and such, he's going to pull the gig. And he said, well, I'm the promoter, the gig's safe. So I rung Ed up and I said, we're playing, and I sent him the set list and said, this is what we're playing. And he went mad, and he rang the Marquee, tried to cancel the gig, and the promoter told him that he couldn't. And again, that was, the end was coming with him. We did a coach down there.
Brilliant.
I remember 3 days before that we'd booked a bistro gig, I'd been allowed back in. And I remember me and Hughesy getting there about 9 o'clock and it was empty downstairs. Fucking hell, where is it? Because normally everybody's downstairs sitting in the windows. Goes upstairs, open the door, and it was rammed. Absolutely fucking chocker. First time I've been allowed back in about a year.
Yeah.
And GMX Duns were playing at the bistro for the first time. And that was an amazing gig. And we put all the leaflets on all the tables for the coach. And a coach load of people came to London with us. And we went down to do the Marquee. And I remember we had to leave early because we were doing sound check. And I remember going into the Spice of Life pub. Which is famous from the Sid and Nancy.
I never realised that.
Sex Pistols.
I was probably told at the time, but Airhead just didn't.
I remember opening the doors and all the bistro was in there.
That was brilliant. All the faces were there with the people that you see every day.
I remember me and Stuart had matching tartan trousers on.
Oh yes, the tartan trousers.
I remember when we opened up with the first track, and there's these two fellas on stage, and I'm looking, I'm thinking, who the fuck are you? And then, and then the next minute, they started dancing, and I'm sort of singing, and I'm thinking, what the fuck are you doing?
What's going on here?
And I'm nudging Stuart in between after the first track. Who the fuck are they? And he's like, the professional dancers.
Yeah.
I asked them to come.
So the Marquee in the pub, we get out, blah blah blah, and then we get to the gig. No, it's actually when we were setting up. So we got all the kit in, and we were setting up. And the Marquee's always been famous for the dressing room. That everybody that used to play the dressing room used to sign everywhere.
I remember it was scrawled up.
And we were looking for a famous person. Didn't we find Rolf Harris? I think that was the only one we found. I don't know if that's just a really bad memory or was a joke.
It could have been Gary Glitter or Jimmy Savile, couldn't it?
But I can't remember that we found anybody, and I just remember the name Rolf Harris for some reason, whether that was a joke that was said that then turned into...
I remember seeing the photographs on the wall as we went in. They had Generation X and the Sex Pistols and the Police. I remember the Police had a photograph, the band. So but world famous gig. Who the fuck were they?
That was DJ, wasn't it?
That was DJ?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
I don't know who the other lad was. Never seen him before in my life.
Can you remember we started?
And they were just stood there, weren't they?
They were just stood there, and I'm jumping up, down, doing whatever, and I'm thinking, they're just fucking stood there, what are they doing? And then sort of halfway through the song, they fucking launched into it.
Yeah, I know. Crazy.
And you look back at it now, it looks terrible, it looks so cheesy, doesn't it?
Well, it was.
Terminal Insanity.
You flash and scream, I watch you die. These eyes of mine are filled with fire. I'm in no mood to compromise. This will be your last goodbye.
We did the gig at the Marquee, and I remember standing on stage at the Marquee and thinking, if I never get further than this, I'm going to enjoy this moment because it's just such a famous place to play. the gig was fucking ace. It really was fucking great. And I remember that we decided to get on the coach on the way home. I forget who went back in the van. I think it was Carl and somebody else. Carl may have drove the van back. I drove it there. And it was like a massive bong on the coach on the way home. And all the ashtrays on the back of the chair, they were fucking screwed shut. And the driver's fucking shouting up making a mess. And I remember Rob Smallfish shouting at him, well, you shouldn't screw the ashtrays shut then, dickhead. Now fuck off. Anyway, as we were getting off the coach when we got back to Rill, the driver looked at me and says, I'll never take you, your band, or your fans anywhere ever again. And everybody just shouted fuck off at him as we got off the coach. Fuck you, mate.
They go to sleep. The nausea and paranoia.
We'd recorded an album called Exocet. Ed hired in all the gear to the squat, and we weren't allowed to have anybody round for a week while we recorded. And we recorded a whole album. And the thing is with Stuns, we could never, I mean, the Anarchy single's great, so I guess Gordon was the only one who ever really captured what we sounded like, but this was done on 8-track, 16-track, can't remember. And, Dave was only a young lad, and he absolutely did the best he could, but we just couldn't capture our sound on tape, studio-wise. It was just really difficult to do. You've got really busy backing tracks with drums on them and stuff like that, and then you've got a live drummer playing on top of another beat, and it all gets messy, and there's not a lot of room. With Dave doing all these synths and sounds and voice samples and stuff, putting a live band over the top of that, I mean, you could get away with it live, when you're trying to record something, it was difficult to do. He wasn't happy with this fucking demo that we did. I can't give that to the record labels, blah, blah, blah. So we went up to Stone and said to John, can we come up and record there, on a night when there's no band playing? And he was like, yeah, lads, come up. So we went up there and we took a load of friends with us, and them and us got very, very pissed. And it took a little fucking night to record. The unsuppressed demo, it's okay, but again, it wasn't perfect, and Ed didn't like it, and I just felt that whatever we did, he didn't fucking like it. The biggest thing he always used to say to me was, he used to say that the band was vocally weak.
Right.
And I felt that was an attack on me.
Yeah.
But I wasn't, and I never ever said I was a great singer. I'm a punk singer. When I listen to the tracks now, 30 years later, my voice is great on those tracks. Yeah. I'm not out of tune. It's like Lydon doing the Sex Pistols. His voice suited what they were doing, and my sort of presence and my voice suited what Stuns were doing.
Absolutely.
But Ed didn't like that. We called a band meeting, and we decided we were going to sack him. And Carl handled the phone call. Ed rang back, and I remember Carl put him on speaker, and we listened to what Ed had to say, and it was obvious that he had a problem with me, for a start off, and he also had a problem with Steve Buckley as well, and because Stephen hadn't signed a contract, and he had a problem with Stuart as well. He didn't like Stuart, and Stuart's attitude was, well, we'll just fucking bury him. In fact, he said, after we sacked him and Carl handled the phone call, we got billed for nearly 10 grand. And he was like, yeah, it's okay, we can dissolve the contract, you owe me 10 grand. If we're on the fucking dole, where are we going to get 10 grand? Where's 10 grand come from? And Stuart's like, you haven't got to pay him, you know. You just go down there and kill him. Stuart just had these fucking shark eyes, you know what I mean? He would have fucking done it, I've absolutely no doubts about that. This bill was quite a serious thing because he was trying to take our equipment off us to sell it, to settle this bill. Anyway, I asked him to produce receipts. Show us your fucking receipts, mate. And he had been talking to McLaren because we were billed for all his solicitor time. And you can imagine what that cost in London. We were billed for all of his solicitor time talking to Malcolm Mclaren. It was nearly 10 grand, and we were faced with this bill. I had to produce band accounts to show that, you know, we weren't paying for it, you know, and the money for the record we were given. You know, we never earned a fucking penny.
When you look back at it, you know, realistically, you know, when that sort of thing happens and there's that thing, there was nothing there to bring anybody back together again.
No.
There was only things to divide people.
It was already tapering off, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I don't think there was anything happening other than negativity to kind of change it up again.
Signing that contract was the beginning of the end, because that alienated you first. Then we had everybody telling us, you know, we had him telling us what to do and stuff like that. And you ended up leaving the band, and Hughesy left very soon afterwards. But we weren't gigging. The band had stopped. And then Gordon come in and says, I'm going to build a studio in here in Rill. And we're like, oh yeah, that's great. What a stupid fucking idea that was.
Well, there was another idea before that, if you remember, and this is, again, I think this is where kind of like fractures were, and it kind of like, you know, drove people further apart. And it was just talk, it wasn't based on reality. But I remember a talk, I mean, you know, if my memory serves, about us getting a coach and then going round bloody Europe playing such and such. And it was, to me, it was like, I ain't getting no coach. I ain't going to Europe. Like, you know,
I'd forgotten about that, but I remember it now. It was Gordon.
Yeah, but that idea in itself was, hey, let's get in a coach. Let's go around Europe to do this. And for me, I was like, I don't want to do that.
Well, I didn't want to do it either.
No, but at the time, it just felt like I was like saying I didn't want to do it, and it felt like I had to tell people I am not doing it. I am separate from you. It was like creating a divide.
Yeah.
But it was based on sort of like just a random idea.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I say, Gordon was. He was so off his head, and some of the things he came out with, he came up with this studio idea, and we had Mike Jones, who was Stun's live engineer. Stuart had his gear, and like I say, you'd left the band by then. Hughesy had left the band, and that just seemed the next door that was opening.
The chain of events all going on there. I mean, like when you look at it, like say from Winnington Rec. You know, it's like, hey, we're on this, and then everything just went wrong, didn't it, and stuff like that.
There was a lot of negativity going on.
Yeah, I mean,
during that time.
Like I say, as a 5-piece, it was so much fun. The songs were great, the gigs were great, weren't they? You know, we had. To me, it was like PSST all over again, but with a better band. You know, and you know, when you told me that story about the Ouija board and stuff like that, you and I, we both believed it. And that drove us, it certainly drove me, because I believed that we were going to be the best band in the world. I had that conviction that we were that good. And, you know, we didn't have the internet and stuff like that back then. Imagine if we'd have had that tool then to promote ourselves, like, you know, a lot of the bands have got today. You know, the damage we could have caused with that, you know.
Yeah, we would have had a far bigger audience, that's for sure.
Yeah, I was back in charge of it again, I guess. But I didn't know where to go. I was doing drugs then. I'd developed a speed habit by then. And was stoned from the minute I woke up to the minute I went to bed. My head was starting to go, you know what I mean? It was... Anyway, Mike done a business plan. Gordon says, well, I'll bring my equipment in. And Stuart also had equipment, so yeah, he came along with us as well. And it was decided that we would build and open a 24 track plus 16 track recording studio. And, you know, from where I was, I sort of looked at it and thought, well, this is great, we've got somewhere to record now, you know, we can record ourselves. But from being in a band, all of a sudden we became painters and decorators. And I remember a really good friend of ours, Sarah Newton, she put some money in. I don't know how much she put in, but it was a lot. Mike put money in, Stuart put his equipment in, and Gordon said he would put his equipment in. And we were given a deadline of 7 weeks from start to finish because it had to open and start making money right away. It was a business project.
Greetings to everybody in the world. All the way from Cumberland, we come for nice up and make a party, you know? Inna the mountain, a musical fountain. Inna the mountain, a musical fountain. All people no say we fat and large. We now go show off. Oh, yeah. New style. All the way from the hills for people to understand and love. And know that the Celtic man rough. Yeah. Celtic man in the wisdom tribe. But remember, all of we is one. Nice stuff. Yeah. One big people in the
I remember Gordon's mixing desk arriving from Bliner. It was all in fucking bits. And he told us that he'd taken a hammer to it. And he also had these two massive 2-inch tape machines, and I remember them from when we'd be recording up there as PSST. So they arrived at the studio, and neither of the machines were working, and the desk was in bits. And Geraint Jones came in, and we knew Geraint because he was the drummer of a band, Mr. Grimsdale, who'd done gigs with us on the Smash Apathy gigs, and lovely fella. Well, he's Ninja. I mean, we know him as Ninja now, but back then he was just Gaz. Great engineer, lovely guy, and he took these two machines, took all the parts from one and the other, and got one that was working. So we had one working 2-inch 24 track tape machine. The other one, they used it as they ended up putting a sink in it and put it in the little kitchen area. It looked cool as fuck. So a 2-inch tape machine with a sink in the middle of it where the reels were supposed to be. But the big desk, there was no way that was going to work. And I remember there was about a week to go, and there was dignitaries supposed to be coming in for the opening. Mike had arranged all that. And the place was nowhere near finished. I mean, the roof, fucking hell, a tin roof. And like I say, car was in the skips. We went back to the squat and tore up all the carpets. And it was also, I mean, they got the Real Cinema as well was closing down at the time, and they got all these polystyrene blocks, these massive big blocks. I remember them just being cut, pushed up into the frames. A load of fucking carpet being put up there and just a hanging ceiling underneath it. And the council came down because it had to face a decibel test because of the local residents. You're not allowed to emit a certain level of noise, and I knew absolutely fuck all about all of this. But they came down and, we got the band to play bass drums and guitars and stuff like that. They went outside and measured the noise and said, "You're okay?"
What was in the ceiling?
Yes.
Everything. Most of it covered in piss.
Yeah. Carpets from the squat. Polystyrene blocks from the cinema down the road. All cut and put in the ceiling.
Don't forget the mattresses.
And the mattresses.
From outside people's dumped shit.
With a fucking hanging roof below it. And the council came round to do a noise inspection because we were in a residential. I remember the night before, there was still... I think one room was opened, the 16 track with Stuart's thing, and everything else was just thrown in the other room and the door locked. All the structural stuff was done, and we had one working desk. And I remember the day the dignitaries were coming, we worked right through the night, and that morning people were running in with carpet, with plants, with tables, fucking all sorts, and it just in and out, and I was like, fucking what's going on here? And then all these dignitaries turn up from the council, and they thought it was fucking brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And then of course it was ready to start taking bands, and that's where everything turned to shit really, because there was no management plan put in place. It was almost like, build it now and we'll work it out later. But it was obvious, and it was obvious to me that there wasn't going to be a job for everybody. So there was like, we'd all done all of this work, we were all fucking knackered, and then it opened, and it's like, well, what do we do now? It was in many ways, it was an incredible achievement that we built that between us.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
A band, musicians, and we had this big control room and a smaller control room, the big live room, office and everything. It looked absolutely brilliant, didn't it?
Yeah.
Fucking crime prevention caravan outside, where did that come from?
I'm not sure, but I think it might be a Preston police station. Out the compound, by the way.
Yeah, I think to myself now, I was sleeping on the fucking floor inside the studio. Why didn't I just move in the caravan? Like I say, the studio was building-wise, and what we did for a band. We built this really, really nice studio. But like I say, home recording came in very, very soon afterwards. So as a business model, it wasn't really going to succeed, and there wasn't enough room for all of us to earn from it. And that's when I sort of decided I'd had enough. Right, I want to get back to being in a band. Steve left the band for not turning up, this, that and the other. I fucking never knew where you were. You were off in Manchester, you were back and forth doing whatever you were fucking doing, and you were the same when we were building the studio. We were all there, and then you just sort of roll in and yeah, that's all right. And I remember I painted the office out, and I remember you walking down, I thought, you're going to fucking hate this. And you walked in and yeah, that's all right.
See? That's all right, mate.
So, Ninja was the engineer there, and it was called Sound Solution to begin with. That was Mike's name. It opened under the name Sound Solution. But there was a power struggle going on there. People had put money in. I put money in. And I didn't know what the fuck I was supposed to be doing. The band wasn't active. This studio had opened, and, bands were coming in. I remember Libertine coming in, and they did some great demos there. And Stuns, we recorded some great stuff there. And we were just ploughing ahead, doing the studio blindly, not really knowing what the fuck we were doing and what the future was. We were just like, we had this deadline of 7 weeks, And we had to get it finished and open. And I need a wee. See you in a minute.